Hello and welcome back to the Now We Know Show, the show where we discuss a topic of interest and by the end we will have learned something new and hopefully you will too.
I'm Buzz.
And I'm Zach. And today we're back!
Yeah, it's 2023.
The first episode of the new year.
Happy New Year, everybody.
We had a fantastic break, but now we're back.
We are, and full of energy, which is great because in this episode we're talking about fitness! Hoo-ha!
If you enjoy the Now We Know Show podcast, why not support Zak Wylde Productions on our Patreon page? Become an official ZWP patron for as little as £1 a month for exclusive early access to all our latest episodes, videos, behind the scenes, updates and more. So, before we get into fitness, it's time for, you guessed it, Word of the Week.
Word of the week.
Word of the week. Word of the week. Word of the week. Word of the week. Word of the week. Word of the week. Word of the week. Ta-da. Anyway.
First one of the year.
Word of the Week is all about old English words we don't use anymore. All you have to do is write down what you think it means in the comments. We will then reveal to you what it means at the end of the episode so you can find out if you got it right. So, the Word of the Week this week is brabble.
Brabble.
Yes, brabble. We're going to find out what brabble means at the end of the episode.
What could that be? I've been for a brabble.
Have a think.
You've given me a brabble. I'm suffering from a bad case of brabble today. I've no idea. I'm looking forward to finding out this one.
Anyway, on to fitness.
On to fitness. Well, why fitness? Well, of course, it's January.
Yes, it's the time of New Year's resolutions.
And everybody has just finished stuffing themselves over Christmas.
Silly with chocolate and food and roast dinners. We like roast dinners.
We like roast dinners. And then they get to January and go, oh, I feel guilty now.
Yeah, it's time for a New Year's resolution.
New year, new
Got to get
me,
fit.
You know, and of course you're getting pounded by all the fitness and exercise adverts on TV, especially if
Sign up to the gym.
Yeah, especially if it's like first thing in the morning before everybody else has woken up.
Yeah,
that's in there. Yeah, buy this piece of fitness equipment. It's going to turn you into a goddess or
using
a Greek god.
Flexology technology.
That's it. Yeah, but that's not all.
Oh yeah, that's the one line.
That's it. But that's not all. So yeah, fitness. People are motivated at this time of year to get into fitness, and that especially in January. I mean, it can be one of those do or die situations where people either say, I'm going to do it, and then by the end of January it's fallen flat on its face, even with all the good intentions, or they manage to maintain it.
So do you think that this idea of kind of getting fit in January is kind of forced on people almost, or do you think that it's kind of an optional thing?
Well, look, when it comes to fitness, you can take up fitness at any time. Maybe I should start off by saying, Buzz, that's me, I am a level 3 personal trainer.
Okay, so you do know what you're talking about.
I do know what I'm talking about. Not only am I a personal trainer, but I'm also a GP referral specialist. And although in recent years I've retired away from taking personal clients, and I used to run fitness classes.
Oh, which I was a party to. I helped.
For over 7 years, I had regular fitness classes and really enjoyed them. But anyway, as you do, you get to a time in your life where you go, okay, I'm going to slow down on that stuff because I want to just focus on other things.
Got so much going on right now.
But at the same time, I focus on my own fitness, and I still go to the gym and do activity. So, your question was, is January a good time to start doing fitness?
Yeah, is it kind of forced onto people, like advertisements and things?
Well, yes, it is. I'm going to be completely blatant. I may say things that could seem a little controversial during this podcast, I dare say, from the perspective of a personal trainer. So the fitness industry is exactly that. It's an industry to make money. And for right or wrong, it sells people that promise that
you're going to look like this if you come to the gym.
You could look like this, you could be like this,
become this, be the best you.
Yeah, be the best you. I mean, a personal trainer, anybody who's into fitness, who, just like any health professional who wants to help people to be the best they can be, is a great
Aspiration.
and a great motivation for somebody's job. If you're a nurse, you're a doctor, or anybody like that. But at the same time, there are a lot of people that do make a lot of money out of the fitness industry because they are running gyms and they want people through the door. I used to be, I've retired from being a martial arts instructor, but I was a martial arts instructor for over 20 years.
Yep.
And prior to that, for most of the years of my life, I've done martial arts, and that means going to clubs. And when it comes to running a club, you've got your overheads and you want people through the door, and you're going to have attrition where people come in all full of excitement and they want to do something.
They stay for a bit,
and then they drop off, and you have a few that stay the course, but a lot of the time you're running a business and people come in and you got that turnover.
Yeah.
And it's the same in anything with gymnasiums or health clubs and spas and things. It's
all about bringing people back.
Yeah. So there is that aspect of the fitness industry which is about making money, and if you can design a diet program or design a fitness program or make a particular piece of fitness equipment and put your name on it because you're a celebrity, or have something endorsed by somebody.
Yes, I use this.
I use this because this is endorsed by blah blah, or I use this piece of special making nutritional drink smoothies, or I use this particular grill because it's lower fat when it cooks things and stuff, and I'm not some of these things do actually work to an extent, but you're selling a product.
Yeah.
And going back to what you were saying, January is generally you've had the run up to Christmas, and we all know for a fact that most retail stores make the money they need at Christmas, on the run up to Christmas. That's the main money.
That's the crazy time. Yeah.
And with fitness classes or fitness programs, just fitness in general, January's kind of become that after Christmas boom. If you can cut your way through that and try and ignore that, jumping on the bandwagon, riding the crest of the wave type of thing, and then finding that you've gone hard and fast into something, and then by the end of January it's all collapsed, and your good intentions get out of the way.
You've got knackered, you've run out of energy, and you just don't want to do it anymore because you feel really achy.
You're walking down the high street, and the cream cakes in the windows at the local.
Oh, I don't need to go to the gym today. I just think I'll have this cookie.
I think I could do with a treat.
Yeah.
I have a hard day's work and all the rest of it. And let's face it, we all have moments like that, and that's what we're going to be discussing through this podcast. But let's start off with the beginnings, because I want anybody listening to this not to be put off from taking up a lifestyle of exercise and fitness. I want you to be motivated listeners.
Yes, very much so.
We want to do this podcast so you can hopefully learn a few things, obviously, that you didn't know about, but also be motivated to go and do something.
And it's all about maintaining that motivation, because if you don't feel motivated to do something, you're very unlikely to continue doing it.
Exactly. And we'll cover all these points. But when it comes to exercise, there are 5 general if you like steps to take up fitness. That is set out in a very simple form. It starts off with pre-contemplation, followed by contemplation, then preparation, then action, then maintenance, and then unfortunately relapse.
Right, that doesn't sound very good.
Doesn't sound very good, but that's how it works, and you're going to get.
So is these all the kind of like mental processes that are going on in your mind?
That takes the individual through from not doing exercise to doing exercise, and then unfortunately it happens, stopping doing exercise. And we see a lot of that through the January period, because people gear themselves up and try and start off. And so you have that pre-contemplation. Now, if you're in pre-contemplation, that means you're not even thinking about doing any exercise. You're the kind of person who maybe despises exercise. Even the thought of doing any exercise
is exhausting.
It's just like, what on earth do you want to be doing that?
That just sounds hard.
Sounds hard, and I can even understand that if you look at it from a certain perspective. Somebody said, "Why do I want to spend an hour on a running machine, sweating and all the rest of it, when I could spend a perfectly good hour reading a book?"
Or watching the TV nowadays.
Or watching the TV. What do they call it? Cramming, was it? When they watch something.
Binge watching.
Binge watching, that's it. Binge watch something.
That's when you can watch a whole series in one go.
Streaming. If I add all the hours up that I'm going to spend on a running machine, by the end of my life, I could have used all those hours doing something else.
Yeah.
You have people that will argue that. And of course, you can argue these facts, not facts, but argue these kind of points of view that, if you spend all this time exercising, that, at the end of my life, I could have spent all that time doing something else, much more fun. Well, I like exercise, I find it fun, but the whole point of having a fit and healthy lifestyle is to try and help you have a long and trouble-free life,
yes.
A healthy life where you're not having to visit the doctors with ailments and things. And of course, people are all different. People have disabilities and people have things that, could prevent them doing exercise the same as an average ordinary person,
mm-hmm.
but we can work around.
We can have moderations,
you can change.
You can adapt things.
If you've ever watched a simple thing, if you ever watch one of these breakfast programs where they have a little 5-minute exercise thing in the morning, they'll have one person who's the instructor showing the exercise, and then they'll usually put 2 people behind them. One doing a modified exercise for people,
one on the chair,
one sitting on the chair, and that's it. So you can modify all these things. But going back to these elements, the pre-contemplation is you're not even going to be bothering about doing it.
Right.
But at some point, people suddenly go, for whatever reason, whatever the motivation is, maybe they've tried putting their clothes on and they go, God, I used to fit into this.
Yeah, or they saw an advert.
Or
they walk past somebody in the street and go, oh, they look fit.
They look fit, and maybe
I want to look like that.
I want to look.
I saw a movie.
To be honest with you, from a personal trainer's perspective, I try and turn people away from looking at images of or what is perceived to be fit people, and have this obsession of I want to look like that.
Yeah.
You should be saying I want to be the best I can be.
Yeah.
And I need to get into the mental state of being happy with the way I look.
Yeah, the best you.
And not being, not
demeaning yourself.
Yourself, looking in the mirror and comparing yourself to those fitness images.
Yeah, and to such a degree, questioning what's the point of even trying.
Yeah, because all that can put you backwards, or even stopping you, or be part of that pre-contemplation where you don't even want to do exercise. Because you think, I can't do exercise, so why should I bother? But if you get into that contemplation bit, that's usually where you're starting to think, well, I want to do something for whatever your reasoning is. I want to do some exercise. I feel I should be, for my own benefits, getting into doing some exercise. Or the other part of the fitness industry is obviously diet. People go on to diets.
Now, that doesn't work by itself.
Well, again, we'll look into that a little bit more. But some people, there's kind of like 2 routes, if you like, that I found over the years. Some people will say, I want to do exercise.
Yeah.
Some kind of sport, or hit the gym, or whatever. And then other people will say, well, I don't want to do that. I hate exercise, but I'll go on the diet route instead.
Yeah, they think it's going to have the same results.
Exactly. But they've got to that point of contemplation where they've decided I need or I want to do something. Some people technically do need to do something because it's their health that's on the line. But most of the time it's you've come to that point in your mind where you say, I've got a reason to do this. Yeah. And then you get into the phase of preparation. So you're going to look around and see, what can I do? What's available? What do I think I want to do?
Yeah. Because if it's not going to appeal to you, you're not going to stay with it.
That's it. I mean, to put it right on the line, and you've said it yourself, and it's something that I always said for many, many years. You've heard me chanting this mantra in front of my fitness class people. If it's not fun, you're not going to do it.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. Whatever you choose to do, so listeners, whatever you choose to do, if it's not fun, you're not going to do it. You might do it for a while, but you're not going to do it for the long term.
Yeah, and it's all about maintaining that healthy, active lifestyle, isn't it?
It's a healthy, active lifestyle. As my good friend Karen, who's a PT, would say, consistency is key.
Yes, that's good.
You've got
That's good.
to be
Yep.
consistent in what you're doing. So what you're doing is you're not taking on board something that you are going to do for January and then give up. I mean, I see people do these kind of
Challenges?
challenges or to raise money for charity, which is a good thing.
Yeah,
and they say,
of course.
for 1 month they'll do
100 press-ups, yeah.
100 press-ups a day, or 100 sit-ups a day, or whatever, and that's great. And they do it and they raise the money and then
They stop.
which is a shame because they've obviously been making them,
Well, they
benefiting.
have been motivated to do it.
They've been motivated, but as soon as you get to the end of that month, it's like the motivation stops. I've done it, completed it.
That's
I don't
it.
have to do it anymore.
Got my medal. There you go.
And you're into relapse.
Yeah.
So anyway, so you've got your preparation and then action. Okay, action is where you go out and you say, right, I've decided what I'm going to do. I've maybe you've already got the equipment that you need to do it. And when I say equipment, just a tracksuit and a pair of trainers, or if you've decided to take
Your real basics.
If you've decided to take up badminton, then you might just go for the basic, which is go to the sports centre and
Hire the equipment.
But you might just say, okay, to get myself motivated, I'm going to buy myself my own badminton racket, and that'll make me feel like I'm making moves. And so you go from that preparation to the action, and you've gone to the sports centre, you've gone to the gymnasium, you've just started to do your couch to 5K, and you've decided to go out, to build up to be able to run a 5K jog,
But again, it's all about setting and continuing short, achievable goals.
That's right. And again, goals is something we need to cover. But so you're now in the action phase, and that's where most people find themselves in January. They've got past Christmas, and then they've suddenly said, right, I've gone through the contemplation. I've been thinking about that even before Christmas once. After Christmas, when I get to the new year, I'm going to go and join a gym, And so then they're into the action phase.
Okay, I need to get my life in order. Let's go get fit.
We've walked through that door and we've started to do something, or we've opened the back door or the front door of our house and we've started to jog or started to get out on our bikes or whatever. And you're in the action phase. And then, as you just said, we need to maintain that. But it's the maintaining it is where
a lot of people have the problem.
And it all falls down. And that's simply because too much,
too
fast,
soon,
too hard, too fast.
If you hit burnout, you're going to feel absolutely knackered, and then you're going to go, you know what, I'm going to have a week off.
You're going to say that, and you're also going to say, I'm not enjoying this.
Yeah.
Because you've gone to the gym, you felt, 400% motivated.
Yeah, let's do this.
Let's go. I'm going to do this. So you give it all that, and then 24 to 48 hours later, you're hit by DOMS.
Right.
Listeners, if you don't know what I mean by DOMS, I'm talking about delayed onset muscle soreness. This is where, if you haven't experienced it before, and I'm sure some of you have,
I certainly have.
You go and do an exercise that goes beyond what the muscles you are using are used to. Now, it could be you go out for a run, and you could sort of, do a jog down the street and back, and it wouldn't affect you. But you decide, I'm going to go for it.
Okay, I'm going to run around the block this time.
Yeah, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to go super fast, or I'm just going to run further than I would normally do, and I haven't done any exercise.
Completely hammered it.
I've gone to the gym, I picked loads of weights up. I'm
it's
good
nothing.
Yeah, this is great. Yeah, look at me pump. And then, boom,
all
that lactic acid that's gone into your muscles, it starts to burn. And of course, what you're doing is you're also tearing your muscles with little micro tears,
which is a good thing.
Which is a good thing. It sounds terrible, but if you're doing resistance training and you're lifting up weights that you aren't used to, you are putting tiny, tiny little micro tears into your muscle tissue. And of course, they need to heal. And all this combined leads to this burning pain in your legs or in your arms or in your chest or in your shoulders, wherever. And then you go, oh my God, I hate this. Now, the best thing to do if you get DOMS is to move.
Yeah.
Is to keep moving.
But you don't want to. And you go, oh no, this is horrible, I hate this. And that's one of the first sort of
things that'll put somebody off is the afterburn from doing exercise. So you need to go into exercise, into this new year of 2023, thinking whatever I'm going to take on board, slowly.
Yeah.
Just do it slowly, small and slow. And as you said, Zach, goals. Yeah, it's all about setting goals. Small, achievable goals.
Very much so.
You know, if you go in there and you set a goal which is just not achievable, and that's the way we look at it.
You look at someone else in the gym and they're like shifting really heavy weights. You go, all right, I've got to go shift the same or if not heavier weights, and you physically can't.
Yeah.
You're just going to hurt yourself.
Well, you're going to hurt yourself, and that's completely the wrong approach. Ideally, if you've gone to a gymnasium, you should have been given a fitness instructor or
just do
gym
what
instructor.
You can.
Yeah, gym instructor or a PT should have given you an induction, because you need to be shown how to use the equipment and things. And again, that's one of those things when you are a gym instructor. A lot of people go into the gyms. You probably see these videos where you kind of like people are doing the most weirdest exercises.
Well, yeah, we see on social media and stuff people doing exercise, and I'm sure that people do exercise and fitness at home, and they're not going to have that regulation of a PT instructor.
Well, it's you see inexperienced people doing very strange exercises, which could either just not be beneficial or could actually be
severely injure you.
You see other people that are obviously used to doing exercise taking risks by lifting large weights without any collars on the bars,
or even having a spotter.
Yeah, or even without having a spotter, and then they get trapped under the bar. And God, you see all these videos where people
crazy things.
And then you get the kind of, well, you said it, social media people who are fitness people, and then they do strange exercises in order to sort of like come out with this new funky exercise.
You see it when you actually go to the gym. They try out these new TikTok trends and things at the gym, and it's like a couple of weeks down the line, it completely disappears. It's the next thing.
Yeah, and you don't need to do all this funky stuff. Usually, most of that stuff is not about the fitness or helping other people to do fitness, but it's about getting the clicks on their videos, the likes and the clicks and the comments and
shares.
The interactions.
Yes.
Because if you ever interact with social media and comments, even if you put negative comments down, the algorithms still pick it up.
It promotes it. It promotes
a promotion. So people don't care whether you're commenting on it good, commenting on it bad, or whatever.
It's the fact that you have been interacted with it,
and that builds up their
presence.
Yeah, their presence, and if they're making money off it, you make them more money. Doesn't matter what you say, good or bad. Anyway, so you want to go and decide what you're going to do. Find the professional person in the gym to help you out if you go into a gym. A lot of people, though, don't choose the gym route. My niece, Sarah, hi Sarah, if you're listening to this, hates the gym. She regularly tells me how she doesn't find it inspiring at all. Hopefully I'll try to, in this podcast, inspire some people to find the benefits of going to the gym. But you might choose to do what you mentioned. I keep saying what you mentioned, but you mentioned earlier briefly, you said working out at home.
Yeah.
So a lot of people will choose working out at home, not go to the gym. And let's be honest, gyms cost money.
Yeah, and obviously you've got to get there as well.
Some people, that's the paradox of going to the gym, you could say. Think about it. You come to the gym with me, and we drive to the gym.
Yeah. And
it's fair to say the gym we've got a gym that's much closer to us. I like the gym that I go to, and it's a gym that I've gone to for since 1991, to be honest with you.
Wow.
So I'm a bit of a stick in the mud going to that gym. It's also where there's a swimming pool, it's got a sauna, it's got a steam room. All the stuff that I like is there. Mm-hmm. But we drive there. Now, we could cycle there, but it's a little bit further than I want to jump on my bike to go for a workout.
Yeah, to then have to cycle
back.
Yeah.
Especially at this time of the year, which is winter, where the weather could be
and we tend to go in kind of like the evening.
Yeah, I'm not one for working out first thing in the morning. They say that the workout, what's the best time of the day to work out? And I think the consensus is that you get a lot of benefit in the morning, But I just, even being a PT, I've never been motivated to exercise first thing in the morning before going to work.
Right.
For me, it's a great way of shedding. If you had a hard day at work, your head's full of work, everything is happening, it's work. I go after work.
Yeah, it's a stress release, isn't
and
it?
it lets go of all that built up stress or
tension,
you don't
worries.
think about anything, and you come out of it and you're glowing and you go, this is beautiful, and you just feel like you can then have an hour at home relaxing, letting all your
everything toned down,
just relax,
yeah,
and go to bed and get a great night's sleep.
Oh yeah, you'll definitely sleep after a good workout.
That's how it works for me. I'm not saying that work for everybody. Other people like to get up in the morning and hit the gym before going to work, and then, which is okay. Got the gym out the way now. I'm at work. That's never really worked for me. But then other people do different shift work. So some people might work nights, and for them, that early morning is their evening.
Yeah. Again, it's all about what's right for the individual.
But whatever you choose to do has to be able to fit in and be consistent. Because what we're talking about in the long term is making our lifestyle change.
Yeah.
You can't do something when it comes to adding a bit of fitness to your life and just do it for a month and that's that. If you're going to be positive and you're going to make a difference, it needs to be consistent. And that's where a lot of diets fall flat, and that's where a lot of the home gym workouts fall flat, because at home, you're in your own comfortable environment, and the amount of exercise equipment that is purchased for home use.
And it's just left in a cupboard.
And it's all enthusiastic.
Used to hang up washing.
Yeah, and then it's shoved under the bed, stuck in a shed, put in the garage.
Put somewhere where you can't see it.
And eventually, the next time you'll see that fitness equipment is when you go to the local car boot sale.
Yeah.
And they've gone, right, we really ought to get rid of this now. But yeah, they do this, the Abdominizer 4000, all this stuff.
Oh, what's the one that looks like a bow?
Oh,
remember that one?
That's the latest, one of the latest ones, isn't
the
it?
Flex Doer or something.
Yes, and it's like all these cables on it, and you think, you could get tangled up in it, I don't know.
You look at it and it's like, this looks like some kind of torture device.
Exactly, and they always do it with, they've got the 6-pack abbed models that are all oiled up and shiny.
Yeah.
And they're doing it, and it's like, wow, this is great. You think,
You don't need these,
but
really
if you're
specific
talking,
things.
If you've got the motivation to stick with it, doing a home exercise routine, that's great. You can get home workout DVDs,
books,
you can get books,
magazines,
even computer game type things fitness things.
I remember that.
If you can keep the consistency going, brilliant. But when it comes to a lot of this super fandangle sports equipment that people have at home, honestly, the best thing you can buy yourself is a set of dumbbells.
Yeah, can't go wrong.
Simple set of dumbbells, maybe variable weight dumbbells, or a set.
Well, they're very versatile, aren't they?
They're simple. You can't break them. If you know how to use dumbbells, free weights, you can get so much out of them, and they'll benefit you so much more than
a lot of this television gimmick stuff.
Yeah, the gimmick stuff. Yeah, just go get. If you're listening to this and you want to have some fitness equipment at home that is going to do you good, set of dumbbells. Simple as that.
If you don't take anything else away from this podcast, take that away.
Yeah, set of dumbbells. However, you might be motivated to do your couch to 5K.
Yeah.
Right, well, that's great. And you've got apps on your phone that's going to help you. Super. But, again, this time of the year is not the best time of the year for it, because the weather can change so quickly. And it's horrible out there today.
Oh, it's raining. I don't want to go out.
It's been pouring with rain. You look out the window, you go, I don't want to go out there. Or it's cold, or it's icy, and you worry about slipping. Same as if you're going to go out on your bike. You bought yourself a new bike, and you've just decided to dust off your old bike. The weather can be a real
treacherous sometimes.
Well, treacherous, but as you say, that can
kind of a negative kind of.
That can demotivate you, because it's very easy to look out the window and go, yeah, I'm not going to go out there. There are people who are incredibly motivated. They are long distance runners, marathon runners, people like that. They'll go out in all weathers. They've got that mindset.
But not everyone will.
Not everywhere. And now, as I've said, I'm a PT, and I've been a qualified PT for many, many years. But I hate running. It's one of my pet hates, and I'm not embarrassed to say that. I will say I hate running. I find it both really boring.
Oof.
I do. I'd rather be out on my bike. Yeah, my bike, I can cover miles and miles, have a wonderful time. I can zoom around corners. I use a mountain bike, so I like to be off-road, and I get excitement, and you're going through woods, and you're doing all this stuff. Running, plodding, I plod. So, yeah, it's never been a motivator for me. So, but that's my point. You can be a fitness instructor, and you still don't like certain areas of fitness. Because we're all different. And it's when you, as a fitness instructor, when you realise that not everybody likes certain things, that helps you to tailor things and get the best out of them in the areas that they do enjoy. But a lot of people don't know exactly what it is they want to do or what's going to motivate them. Now, we can talk about, if you like, those people that decided, I don't want to do exercise, I'm going to go on a diet. I'm going to go to a weight loss class, club, things like that. They can be very good, but again, it's kind of something that starts
and then finishes.
And then it finishes. I'm going on a diet.
I have now lost my allocated amount of weights.
Or
I don't have to go anymore.
Yeah.
Then you put the pounds back on.
Yeah, and that's why people find they yo-yo through diets. They try this diet, and you hear people. And I've spoken to people before saying, "Oh, Buzz, I've tried everything. I've tried this diet, I've tried that diet, I've done this and I've done that, and it hasn't worked." Well, it's because somewhere along the line the consistency isn't either working, you're yo-yoing through, or simply the diet itself is totally demoralising.
Yeah.
You're going, I'm hating this.
I want a steak now.
And there's nothing wrong with that. The opposite side is you can say, okay, I eat junk food, but I'm going to go and exercise. And you can go and, again, back in the days, sports centres, when I was a lad, you go to the sports centre and the sports centres had bars. I don't know if any sports centres these days have bars, but I haven't seen any for years. But you'd see people going into the gym having a good old workout. Yeah, work. Straight in the bar, a couple of pints of beer.
Go home.
If you just guzzle all this liquid calories going straight on. Or people will do that. They'll have a workout and then they go, oh, really hungry. They'll go and get some takeaway. They just,
Or even McDonald's.
Yeah, they always cite them near to gyms and things. But they'll go home and feel hungry, and they'll still have a bad nutritional intake, if you like, which counteracts to a certain degree the benefits. But all exercise is good. It's trying to get that
happy balance.
Well, happy balance and an all-round package. Yeah, that isn't something that we start in January and then knock on the head because it's become too boring, too painful. I've become demoralised, or I'm hungry, and all those things that just are just
causes to kind of
they're just
make you stop.
They're laying the paving
the way to stopping.
To stopping, because you need to find something that you're going to carry on with
and consistently be at it.
Exactly. Now, so why?
And it doesn't need to be crazy.
No, it doesn't. So why? People usually they'll say, "I want to take up fitness because, maybe the doctor has recommended that they take up fitness, depending on what age they are and things like that, or they themselves are going, oh, I used to fit in these trousers and I don't fit in them anymore, and I need to lose some weight."
Yeah, and then when they do manage to fit into the trousers again, they stop doing the exercise, and then they put the pounds back on. It's like, you got to stick with it.
Yeah. Now, the trouble is with the fitness industry and fitness in general and diets is that they can seem awfully complicated, and I've always been somebody who prefers simplicity is efficiency's best friend, not to get overcomplicated with things. And this is where people kind of overthink things, try too hard, And again, that can be, or am I having my macro, my macronutrients? Am I having my micronutrients? Am I doing this, doing that? And this is all having the right balance of vitamins and minerals and blah, blah, blah. And then we go, and calorie counting everything.
And that will probably put a lot of people off, even the mere mention of that.
Yeah, so what we need to really look at is to come with a more practical approach to fitness. If you're somebody who hasn't done any fitness before, or for many years, or used to but you haven't done it for a while, then you want to start off gently with achievable goals, find out what you want to do, and try it out. If it doesn't fit, if you find, well, actually, I'm not enjoying that, find something else to do, but don't just give it up.
Yeah, so an example of that would be try going to the gym once a week.
Once a week, yeah. Now, I'd even go easier than that. We have a terminology which is called daily active living.
Right.
Daily active living. And that is when you wake up in the morning and you swing your legs out of bed and stand up, to the moment that you stand next to your bed, sit down and get into bed, the portion of the day between those two events is filled with daily active living. Now, this is the first step you need to take towards your goal of health and fitness. Look at what you do on a daily basis, what your daily active living is, and see if there's areas you can improve upon, because you haven't thought about it before. Now, I'm going to come up with a bit of a stereotypical image here, I'm sure, but you'd be surprised how many people fit into this. People will get out of bed in the morning, have a shower, make a cup of tea, cup of coffee, do their breakfast. Maybe they'll sit in front of the TV to watch the news, have their breakfast. Then they've got to go to work. You'll go get in the car to drive to work, or you might get in the car to drive to the train station to catch the train to go to work, or you might walk to the bus stop to get on the bus and go to work. Different ways, but inevitably you've gone from sitting down in your house to sitting down to get to work. You get to work. If you're working in an office, I mean, obviously some people will be more motivated in their daily active living if they've got a more manual job, but there are so many people that will get to their workplace to then maybe use the lift, or if you're American, escalator, or elevator, should I say, escalators, the moving stairs, and sit down at your desk and spend the majority of your day sat at your desk before returning home, for most of it in a seated position, to get home and say, oh, do you know, I've had a hard day's work. I'm going to crack open a beer, a glass of wine, flop onto the settee, watch some trash TV to unwind, and go to bed. So you've spent a majority of your day not even standing up or moving. A lot of people spend huge amounts of time these days sitting down and not moving. Now, this is the key. Movement is exercise. So if you can find simple ways to add that exercise into your day, you're increasing your daily active living. So if you're going to work and you have the facility that you can walk or cycle to the station rather than drive to the train station, or you can get off at a stop earlier and walk a bit further to work, or when you get to work, if there's an elevator, that you can use the stairs. At lunchtime, when you go for a walk and have your lunch.
Yeah.
All these things add. If you are going shopping, a lot of people will fight to get a parking space
at the front
nearest the doors to the store. Whereas I always go as far away from the store doors as possible, because
number one, easy parking,
guaranteed parking the far side of the car park. Then, I know this sounds silly, but when you take your trolley and you get all your bags of shopping, if you can handle it, don't take the trolley to the car. Take the trolley to the trolley park, unload your bags, and if you can carry them, if you haven't got, if there's more than one of you, then you can share them out. Carry the bags across the car park and put them in the car rather than pushing the trolley to the car. Simple things like that add to your daily active living.
And as soon as it becomes like a routine, that's what you do, you don't think about it and you just do it.
Exactly. Now, we've got our active daily living and we're looking to improve upon that. And we haven't even gone to the gym yet, or we haven't taken up any specific extra fitness regime. Now let's look at the basics of the human body itself. When you are asleep, you're burning calories.
Yeah.
And if you, to make it really easy for those people listening, if you laid in bed for 24 hours and didn't do anything, your body's organs
would be using calories.
You'd be burning your cardio system, your blood pumping around your body, your heart pumping, your breathing burns calories. So you have what's called a basal metabolic rate. Basal meaning baseline. It's the amount of calories that your body requires to sustain itself, to keep itself alive in a 24-hour period. You're going to burn those calories whatever you do. You have to, because your body just ticks over at that rate.
Yeah.
Now, if you consider that, so you've got that baseline. If you get out of bed and start moving around, every movement that you do burns calories. Great. So you can be out there and you could say through your daily active living, you burn, say, 2,000 calories worth of energy expended. Fine. But you're also going to eat food during the day. Food is
puts it back on.
And drink as well. It's putting energy into your body. It's like having a car. Your body is your car. You're driving your car. You're burning fuel. You need to top up the fuel tank. Now, if you're going to top up the fuel tank in a car, it gets to its full level, and that's as far as it goes. We're humans. We can eat more than we need. Or we can eat more than we need and store more than we need because our genetics are designed that if you were a hunter-gatherer 70,000 years ago, you don't know when you're going to eat next. So if you are in a plentiful time of food, you go, yeah, and you'll stuff yourself because you don't know if
when the next time you're going to eat
2 days later you might not have any food and you've got to last a few days before you get another, manage to gather berries, nuts and roots, or whether you make have a good hunt.
Yeah.
And our bodies are designed to store energy in case we don't get any energy. But of course, we live in a time where you can eat 24/7.
Yeah,
prolific. Most of the food that's on food and drink that you have is packed full of sugar and.
When it comes to food nowadays, it's need for nothing. It's like you've got access to everything.
Exactly, and you can just eat and eat and eat. And of course, your body goes, wow, this is great.
I better store all this.
Better store this because we might not catch another woolly mammoth.
That's when the problem comes in.
That's where the problem comes in. So if you're expending, say, 2,000 calories worth of energy, but you are eating 3,000 calories worth of energy fuel back into your body, you've given yourself an excess of 1,000 calories, which your body says, well, we're just going to
store it.
That's put it in a very simple way. Now, if you're going to do that, if the intake of fuel is more than the fuel that you're burning, you're going to put on weight.
Yeah.
And that weight is in the form of fat. And just to sum up, 3,500 calories. 3,500 calories is a pound of fat.
Right.
Okay. So I'll say that again. 3,500 calories is equal to a pound of wobbly old fat.
Right.
If you divided that up between 7 days, that would be 500 calories per day. So if you were eating 500 calories more than you are
supposed to
burning off
through
your basic metabolic rate and your daily active living, if you are in excess of that by 500 calories a day, you've got a potential of putting on a pound of fat a week.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But if you can do the opposite and say, oh, well, I'm going to reduce my fuel intake.
That's where it works to your advantage.
You can lose a pound of fat a week.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, this is another little thing that I say. People say, oh, I need to lose weight. I need to lose some weight. I don't like looking at it like that. You should be saying to yourself, I need to lose fat. Because you're made up of, obviously you've got your skeleton, you've got your organs and everything else, but you've got muscles and you've got fat.
Yeah.
We all need fat for our bodies to work, but not that excess amount of fat. You don't want to be losing muscle density. Now, when you're doing things like just dieting and not exercising, you can run a risk of your
Losing
body.
the muscle.
Your body is going to try and
Eat at the food.
Eat away at
Yeah.
your muscle tissue as well. And so you can end up losing weight. It can look like you've lost weight. For example, if you haven't been drinking a lot of fluids, you can certainly seem as if you've lost weight, but you can easily put that back on. I used to run classes in a hall, which before I would go into the hall had a slimming club in it, and people were there. They'd go for their weigh-in, and when I went in, I had to clear up all the wrappers of the food that after the weigh-in.
Oh yeah,
they'd been
every
scoffing
time.
all the
Snack bars
and crisps and everything else, which is silly really, because if you eat before you go, they're worried that if they eat before they go, they're going to be heavier than if they don't eat.
Yeah.
But if you eat before you go, every time you go, if you've lost any actual weight, it will register.
Yeah.
See what I mean? Anyway, that's for another discussion. But so when we look at the human body in this basic sense of fuel in and fuel out, it becomes a lot easier, okay, to see what we need to do. Now, I've had smaller ladies that have trained with me that have put on weight, but they haven't put on weight because they're putting on fat. They've put on weight because they put on muscle density.
Yes, precisely.
They're actually lost fat,
but
gained
muscle.
muscle and looked fitter, shapelier.
And it's about recognising that, isn't it?
So they go, oh, they're not going, oh, Buzz, I've put on 2 pounds, because they're not putting on 2 pounds of fat.
Yeah.
They've put on 2 pounds of density of muscle.
Which is a good thing.
It is a good thing, but the thing is, there's a misnomer where people say, muscle weighs more than fat.
Yeah.
And that isn't true.
I've heard this several times.
Muscle. So if you're listening, muscle does not weigh more than fat. If I give you a pound of muscle and a pound of fat, which is heavier?
They're the same weight.
They're exactly the same weight. The difference is muscle is denser, so a smaller amount of muscle will weigh the same as a bigger lump of fat.
It's for some people that's kind of hard to kind of process.
So you kind of think to yourself, don't get hung up on the scales too much. Don't get hung up. I've always found the best judge of you losing fat is putting on your clothes. If you go, oh, this doesn't fit me, and then you go and start increasing your daily active living, take on a more of a regular fitness program, and this is important, and adjust your eating habits to have a better, more nutritional intake of food. You've got to combine the whole package. You can't just go out there, exercise and eat crap. We say it, just eat junk food. It's not going to do you any good. There'll be some health benefits because you are working out. But if you go and also just go on a diet and try kind of starving yourself to lose fat, but not do any exercise,
that's going to have a negative effect on the muscle.
And you're not actually getting the benefit from doing exercise that you would get, you see.
Precisely.
So the best thing is to find that exercise that you can be consistent with. That must be fun, guys. Okay, You've got to listen to me here. Whatever you do, it's got to be fun.
Or it won't work.
It's not going to work. You're not going to do it. You're not going to enjoy it, and you're going to give it up. And do that with looking at your daily calorie intake and say, do I need that can of beer when I get home? Do I need that extra glass of wine? Maybe I can change from doing this and change from doing that to eating better. Now, I'm not going to fit everything into this podcast, but when it comes to things, I have had people say to me, I can't afford to go and buy fresh vegetables, and fruit and vegetables cost more than me going to the supermarket and buying my food. This is something I want to bring up. There are studies that have proven that buying frozen vegetables, you're getting potentially more nutrients, vitamins and minerals in frozen vegetables, which you can buy dirt cheap, than going and buying fresh produce. Now, that might seem counterintuitive. Soon as you pick fruit, as soon as you pick vegetables, they start to decay.
Yeah.
And their nutrients start to go down. If you've transported those fresh fruit and vegetables to a supermarket, to a store somewhere, they are continually decaying. You go and buy them, those fresh vegetables and things, and you take them home, and they sit there and they're still decaying. Whereas frozen fruit and vegetables, as soon as it's picked, it's usually initially frozen, bam, straight away, and it
can't decay.
It
holds that.
It holds all the nutrients in until you defrost it and eat it.
Yeah.
So there is an argument to say you don't have to spend a fortune on buying fresh when you can go and buy frozen.
Mm-hmm.
But what you want to steer clear of is all the processed food.
Yeah.
The processed food is not what you want to be doing. There's a big push for people to be vegans, which is more of a lifestyle compared to being a vegetarian, where you choose just not to eat meat. But if you whatever your outlook on life is, and whatever food you eat, it's just a case of trying to avoid eating that processed stuff.
Yeah.
I've said this before. You compare going to, say you want a treat. You say, I'm going to go to a baker's and I'm going to buy a sausage roll as a treat. I'm going to have a sausage roll as a treat, or I'm going to have something from the baker's. It doesn't have to be a sausage roll. It can be a savoury roll, which is all vegetarian or vegan.
Yeah.
Fine. The bakers cannot sell that the next day. If it's not sold, it's chucked. It's in the bin, off to the pig farm or whatever they do with it afterwards. They cannot sell it the next day, because if it's made by a bakery, it's got fresh ingredients that decay. But you can go to a supermarket and buy a pack of 6 sausage rolls that you've got a use-by date a week from the date you purchased it. And why? It's because it's packed full of sugar and preservatives and junk. So if you're going to say, I'm going to have this naughty treat, or I'm going to have something, buy it from a baker's rather than buy the supermarket plastic wrapped stuff, whatever. But it's not hard to have a nutritional intake that is good, but you might need to adjust other areas of how you do things, such as batch cooking. If you can cook, you can buy your food in and then cook it in a batch, especially these days with the fact that we're in a cost of living crisis and the energy crisis. If you can cook, say, 5 meals in one go and then freeze the other 4, you've got several meals,
almost a week worth of food,
and you've cooked it in one go.
Yeah,
which has saved you energy, and it also saves you having to think, what am I cooking tomorrow? Batch cooking could be a good way, and you can have consistent, healthy, nutritious food at your disposal at any time. And as long as you can combine the nutritional intake and get the horrible calorie count down by eating all this processed food, and combine that with a regular exercise routine, that's where we're going to start making a difference. That's where you're going to start seeing that difference happening. Now, people, when they're getting into fitness, a lot of the time they will, as fitness instructors, they love giving you a BMI test, for your body mass index.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that I've never really agreed with myself.
Well, don't you remember
when
they gave it to me?
I know, I'm going to bring that up.
I think it was like a school initiative or something, but they had to measure it when I think it was year 7.
So with the body mass index, basically what you do is you get a person's weight, so either in kilograms or pounds, and then you divide that by the square of their height in meters, or if you're doing it in feet.
Yeah.
And the higher the body mass index, it basically is meant to say the higher the fat content in your body. But it doesn't work that way.
No, it doesn't take the muscle into consideration.
Doesn't take muscle into consideration. And I know I'm going to blame Jamie or Oliver or whatever it was, but it might have been around the time when he was doing a major school thing about eating nutritional food at school, But when you were at school,
When I was at school,
all the kids were having their BMI done.
yes.
And the problems we had with you, because
We got a letter in the post.
you got a letter in the post telling us that you had to start doing some exercise.
I was obese.
Zach is obese. He needs to do exercise. He needs to have a better nutritional intake. Didn't take into consideration that you were actually training and performing at national level in gymnastics at the time.
I mean, at that time, I was doing some kind of club or activity every single day of the week.
It was martial arts. It was
Scouts, explorers, gymnastics, trampolining, rugby, stagecoach,
You were
acting.
literally at that time down to probably about 12 to 15% body fat.
Yeah.
And the rest of it was just mucking muscle. But BMI immediately says you're obese.
Yeah, because somebody's looked at the statistics and worked that out.
And what they
haven't
done,
actually looked at me.
What they haven't done is looked up from the paperwork and looked at you. Because that's the thing with the BMI, is you look at the person and you can say straight away, okay, I can see where areas of your body are storing fat. I can see your body shape that you are. Whether you're endomorph, mesomorph, or ectomorph. Maybe I should explain that.
Any combination of the two.
or all sort of combinations. Yeah, you talk about people being apple-shaped and pear-shaped and things.
Triangle.
Yeah, so mesomorph is your more wider at the shoulders, narrow at the hips. Your endomorph, wider at the hips, narrower at the shoulders, and carrying a lot more fat around the hips and bum area. And the ectomorphs are your
stick people.
Yeah, I mean, it's putting people into three categories, but as you just said, you can get kind of
any combination.
Combinations could be in there. You, as a personal trainer, you use your eyes.
Mm-hmm.
So as a better way of getting an exact idea of your body fat content, the best way of doing it is using a bioelectrical impedance analysis machine, which basically that runs an electrical charge through you, and the resistance, the machine calculates how much body fat you've got all over.
Right.
The other way to do it is to get the good old fat calipers out.
Oh, yeah. You've practiced with those on me, haven't you?
That's it, the body fat calipers, where you take about 4 to 5 different areas on your body, pinch the skin and the fat, making sure you don't catch the muscle underneath.
Ow.
And take the measurements and then do the calculations to work out how much body fat you've got. Of course, we all need fat on our bodies, but it doesn't take an idiot to look at somebody and say, okay,
specifically me,
you're carrying more fat than you should have on your body for health, or actually you're in pretty good shape, but you could be somebody like an ectomorph who's not actually got a lot of fat or a huge amount of muscle on your body.
Yeah.
But you never do any fitness training.
Yeah. And then they'll come up with something like saying you're underweight.
There's lots of variations on it. So since we're talking about body fat, let's talk about the percentages. Okay, so if you're about 14 to 20% body fat, that's considered athletic. If you're about 21 to 24%, that's considered fit. You've got a fit amount of body fat on your body. If you're 25 to 31%, acceptable, but we're getting into the realms of being slightly overweight.
Right.
If you're 32 or more, then you're considered obese. And if you're 40 plus, morbidly obese.
Yeah.
Now, the benefits of doing exercise and the benefits of getting that fat down is you'll get a lot of people who will go, and again, I mentioned right at the beginning of this podcast that I'm GP referral qualified. That meant that while I was training people, the GP that I was registered with could send people to me for fitness plans and to help them to reduce their body fat. Because people inevitably will go to see a GP and they'll say, I climb the stairs, got pain in my chest, can't breathe, can't catch my breath, fair enough. But there could be an underlying medical condition, or it could be that they're simply
unfit.
Just very, very big and unfit. They're complaining of joint pain. I don't want to tar and feather everybody with the same brush, but people will complain of joint pain, of high blood pressure. Mm-hmm. These are all can be associated with what we call comorbidity conditions that are basically conditions that are all brought on by being overweight, having too much
Being
body
unfit.
fat. You know, people who weren't diabetic have become diabetic because they've been having a very poor nutritional intake and putting too much body fat. So that's what we want to have. We want to come into this new year with a mind frame of seeing what we can do that's fun, that we can be consistent with. Start off with small achievable goals. Like you said, if you can get to the gym only once a week, that would be one more time than you were doing before.
Yes, that is very true.
If you can get there twice a week, or you can build it up. If you get to the gym, then you might want to say, okay, I've been given a program by my gym instructor, but you might want to set some of your own goals. You know, you might want to get onto a treadmill, running machine, and say, well, you know, I'm going to set the timer for 10 minutes, and I am going to do a walk for 10 minutes as my warm-up to get the blood circulating around my body before I do the rest of my workout. Then you might want to do that for, you know, a week. You say, well, I'm finding this really easy.
Yeah, I can do this.
Okay?
That's good.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to knock the speed up on that. So instead of doing a walk, I'm just going to go to a fast walk.
Yeah.
Fast walk. Okay, I'll find that a bit harder, but I can do it. Okay, so that's what we're going to do now is we're going to fast walk for 1 minute. And then we're going to knock the speed up that I can't walk because it's too fast, but it's a slow jog.
Yeah.
And I go slow jog for 30 seconds, or if I can, for 60 seconds, and then take that speed down back to that fast walk again. Get through that 10 minutes by doing fast walk, jog, fast walk, jog, fast walk, jog. Yeah?
And when you're happy with that...
When you're happy with that, you go, okay, let's do one or two things. We're either now going to say do 30 seconds fast walk, 1.5 minutes jog.
Yeah.
Or you might want to say, okay, I'm going to do 1 minute fast walk, 2 minutes jog. Or we're going to say, okay, I'm going to stick with what I'm doing that 60 seconds walk, 60 seconds jog, but double the time, 20 minutes instead of 10 minutes. So by changing those routines, we can see improvements until, just like with a couch to 5K, you go in there and you say, right, okay, I'm coming in. The first thing I'm going to do a 20-minute jog to get myself warmed up.
Yeah.
And boom, you're in there because you've built it up. If you go in there and think, I'm going to go and do a 20-minute jog straight away, not only are you going to go, God, that nearly killed me, but then you're going to suffer what I mentioned right at the beginning was
the DOMs.
You're going to get hit by the DOMs, you know, which it's not a bad thing.
Yeah, don't get us wrong. That's not a bad thing.
Don't get me wrong. DOMs is not a bad thing. DOMs is a bad thing when you're not used to them and you've really
hammered it
and you're suffering. If you're somebody who's used to fitness, then you're training to a certain level and you're not getting DOMs, you go, okay, right, I'm going to up the weight on this, or I'm going to increase the repetitions. You don't have to, if you're doing free weights or if you're using the machines, you might want to up the repetitions or up the weight or change the type of set that you're using from a simple or standard set to a drop sets or pyramid sets or whatever. We can talk about that in further podcasts about fitness. You want to change your routine because then you come away and the next day you go, oh yeah, you know,
that was good.
Yeah, I did an upper body workout. I can feel that in my triceps. Now, if that means you've pushed those muscles beyond what you're normally training, and therefore you are going to make gains. And if you stick with that change that you just made, you know, say keep it simple. Say you've just increased the weight 10k more on a particular exercise, and you find that extra 10k has given you DOMs, you feel it the next day, and you continue with that, I guarantee you within the month you're not feeling DOMs anymore. Not only are you not feeling DOMs, but your muscles have become stronger, and now they're not,
because they've adapted to you lifting the heavier weight.
10k, and that's where we need to go. You're always consistently trying to improve,
setting those goals.
Whether it's your cardiovascular, which is basically you're running, you're getting your heart rate up, or whether it's your resistance training, basically with the free weights or with the machines, and although the machines are okay, I'm an advocate for free weights, as you know. The machines are great, but I find that with the machines, when you're doing things on the machines,
They can be very isolated to a very specific thing.
So, for example, let's just say I was doing a bicep curl on a bicep curl machine. I'm sitting down, my whole body's relaxed. I've got my arms maybe over a padded bar, and then I'm doing the bicep curl. Now, that machine is really focusing on my biceps.
Yep.
And there's other synergists and fixators that are kicking in there, muscles that are helping to stabilise the arms and to help along with those biceps, but it's focusing on that specific muscle group.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, the rest of me, my legs, my back, everything else,
not working at all.
Not working at all, because I'm sitting down in this nice,
comfortable chair
position. Whereas, if I go into the free weights room and pick up either a couple of dumbbells or a barbell, and I'm now standing up myself,
you're supporting yourself.
My body's got to be locked into position. All the muscles are engaging, leg muscles, my core muscles, and I'm doing the same exercise. So I'm still focusing on those bicep curls.
Yeah.
But the
You're
rest of
also
my
working
body
the rest of your body, aren't you?
Is engaged. Yeah. So I get a better workout using the free weights than I do using the machines.
Mm-hmm.
Although there are certain machines like say the leg press and things which you can get. You can sit on a leg press machine and probably leg press far more than if you were doing a standing squat with the squat bar across your shoulders.
That's definitely me. That's definitely me.
Exactly. Your legs, you got mega legs. They'll put you really do. Push the weights with your legs. I'm all upper body. I've got a couple of matchstick legs. I'm joking. But anyway, but it's fun. It's finding those things that are fun, and that's what we're going to probably continue the line on. And we'll start from this initial podcast on fitness and being positive and getting into fitness. It's your first opportunity, listeners, to come back to us with questions, with anything. You want to ask us to discuss that. We can come back in a further podcast and come back and talk about subjects you've brought up and what you find keeps you motivated. Any tips or tricks?
This is definitely a podcast topic we're going to come back to.
Yeah. This today is more about just scratching the surface.
Just like January.
Trying to say to you guys, yes, do stick with your New Year's resolution if it is to do with health and fitness. Small achievable goals. Don't go into it full blast and then give up on it by the end of January. Let's stick with this. But by making those small changes in your daily active living, you can make such a big difference. What I'm going to probably leave you with on this one, okay, because as I say, we've kind of bounced off a lot of subjects here in this one podcast.
Yeah.
What I'm going to leave you with is you're not, and this isn't a negative, but this is being realistic. You are not going to get a six-pack by the end of January. Okay? You are going to make big differences, and the first differences you're going to find if you do any fitness program is your overall fitness will improve. Your blood pressure will go down. You will feel less out of breath going up that set of stairs than you did before. Even though you might think that your body hasn't or doesn't look any different. The immense benefits you're going to get just from increasing that daily active living are internal. They're going to give you such health and well-being that you need to stick with it. Changing your body shape is twofold. Nutritionally, as well as increasing that daily active living, that fitness. And if you can do that, be consistent and stick with it, and don't look at the covers of glossy magazines or watch the television channels selling you these products that are going to miraculously give you a six-pack,
Mm-hmm.
If you can stay focused and hold on to reality, things will change. It works. It can't not work. Let's put it that way. It can't not work. but you've got to stick with it, and you've got to make what we've been discussing today has to be a lifestyle change.
Yeah.
So it doesn't become something that is forced upon you. And it gets to a point, and this is what I'm going to finish off with, as you said this, I asked you this question when we were at the gym the other night, and I said, what motivates you to come to the gym?
Now, for me, I reckon that's probably... I like talking to you.
Yeah, I know you like talking.
And Jack, of course.
Yeah. I mean, I like going by myself. Well, let's put it, when I'm by myself, I don't not dislike being by myself, yeah? I'm quite happy going to the gym by myself. It's nice to have somebody to talk to between sets, because I'm not one of those people that wears headphones and loses myself in my own little world.
Right.
I rarely do wear headphones because I find them sweaty and hot in my ears and just annoying. Even the earbuds fall out and so between sets, when you're taking that 1 to 3 minute rest between the exercises, you can have a good old chat, and that's great, and it's just fine. But I asked you, and the answer that you gave me was because you've been going to the gym for such a long time now, that you miss going to the gym.
Yeah, I've gotten over that kind of like it's a awkward thing. Yeah,
and that's listeners. That's the telling thing. It's at that point where I need to go to the gym. Oh, I don't feel like going to the gym tonight. Oh, I've got to push myself to go to the gym. I've got to get to the gym. You go to the gym, you go, oh, actually, I'm really glad I went to the gym tonight because now I feel so much better than I did if I hadn't gone to the gym. But then you get to a point where you go, I want to go to the gym, and you feel
annoyed if you miss it.
It's
getting over that thought process of going to the gym is kind of a hardship.
Yeah, that's going to the gym is something I must do to something that
I want to do, and I'm going to feel as if I'm depriving myself if I don't go. Yes, that's precisely where you want to be.
And if you can get yourself to that point, you're there.
You're golden.
And that's not just going to the gym, it's whatever exercise regime you've decided. If it is going out for a run, if it is going out for a jog, if it is going out on your bike, if it's doing whatever it is, if you're looking out that drizzly, rainy window and you go, I'm definitely going out because
you want to make it habitual.
Yeah, I'll feel let down if I don't go.
Yeah.
But let down in a, not in a bad way. You want to go to the gym and, oh, damn, I've missed out on the gym tonight,
Yeah.
That's the way it is.
Yes.
Because honestly, when you get to the gym, when you get out there and you do something, you feel so good afterwards. It's just awesome. It's just awesome.
Couldn't have put it better myself.
And it's for you. That's the thing. It's for you, listeners. It's, and we've only got one body. It's our transportation through this life. And you need to look after it. And the one thing I find about fitness is it's not just physical, it's also mental. So you get all the benefits, both from the physical as well as the mental side of it. Mental health is in the news all the time these days. And one of the best things you can do is to have a workout, to do fitness, because it is so beneficial for your mental health. And on that note, I'm going to leave it, Zach, until we come back and discuss maybe more specific areas of fitness training, rather than just like what we've tried to do in this hour is go over a lot of areas to try and motivate people and say you can do it. Just leave it at that.
So that leads us on to our word of the week.
Oh, yes. And what was that again?
Brabble. Any ideas?
Well, we've been talking about fitness, and in all my years, I've never come across brabble in fitness. But I can't have anything to do with fitness. Brabble, it sounds a bit like, I don't know.
Scrabble?
Brabble, going for a brabble. No, I don't know. I've got, okay, I'll go, right.
Go on, give me an answer.
Brabble. Kind of sounds like rabble, like a group of people. Maybe a brabble is a group of hungry people. I've said brabble. That's what you're talking about.
Okay. So
I'm feeling really brabbly today. I'm hungry.
Okay. To brabble is to argue loudly about matters of no importance.
Well, certainly a lot of that goes on these days, especially on social media.
Definitely.
So brabbling. Oh, I'm going to have to remember that one. Yep.
To brabble.
It's when you get one of those subjects on a news feed where people are arguing about stuff, and you read through and you get that point where you go, why am I even reading this? Because
it's just a movie.
It's completely pointless. Exactly.
It's very specific.
Very specific. Yeah, so it's a subject. It's arguing about a subject that is
basically of no importance.
No importance to life, the universe, or anything. There we have it. Now we know.
To brabble.
To brabble.
So that leads us on to the end of the podcast. So what do we think we're going to approach next, subject-wise?
Well, obviously we've got a lot of subjects over
It's the beginning of the year.
It's the beginning of the year. We've had a lot of subjects in 2022, which some of them we've done follow-ups.
Yeah.
And we're going to do more follow-ups on. So, yeah, we're going to get special guests coming in this year and continue with some of the themes that we've already started to cover. I'm really looking forward to getting back onto the, what's a super fan. But also want to get back into delving into local, English folklore.
Yeah, that was a good one. That was a good
English folklore. So, yeah, I think off the top of my head, I think English folklore, super fans, and maybe another taste test of something.
Oh, possibly.
What about yourself? Or are you just going to agree with me?
I'm just going to agree with you.
Brilliant. Well, anyway, get out there, get fit, get motivated. Stick on your Olivia Newton-John, let's get physical. Yeah,
let's get physical.
I want to get physical.
Do you?
Yeah, I do. I do now. I'm pumped. I'm motivated. Yeah, let's
go to the gym.
Yeah.
If you enjoyed this podcast, please like and subscribe to this channel and comment below any suggestions of topics or activities you'd like to listen to in future episodes. You can find the Now We Know Show podcast on YouTube, Spotify, Amazon Music and Apple Podcasts. Check out the Zak Wylde Productions social media pages on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter, or visit the Zak Wylde Productions website at www.zakwyldeproductions.com. Please get in contact. We'd love to find out how you're listening to us. So get in touch in the comments and don't forget to check out Zak Wylde Productions on Patreon to become an official ZWP patron today. That's a big working out goodbye from Zak. Huh!
And that's a let's fuel the pump from Buzz. Goodbye.